Today we're going to talk about something pretty incredible. I mean, truly one of the most amazing processes in all of biology. The journey a new life takes to enter the world. We're going to break down the story of vaginal childbirth, step by step, from that very first spark of life, all the way to the very first breath.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the spark of life. Then we'll see how both mother and baby get ready and preparing for arrival. After that, we dive into the main event, labor, the final journey. And finally, we'll look at what happens right after the arrival.
So, let's start at the very beginning. How does this whole miraculous journey actually kick off? Well, the story starts on a scale so small you can't even see it, where the odds of success are, frankly, astronomical.
It all begins with a race. And I mean a serious race. We're talking millions of sperms starting the journey. But after this epic struggle for survival, it all comes down to just one. The moment that single sperm gets through, everything changes. The egg instantly puts up this kind of chemical force field, making sure it's a one-time-only event, a one-shot deal.
And that singular moment, that's what we're calling the spark of life. From here, we're going to follow that brand new cell as its genetic code merges, and it starts its first huge journey. A trip to the uterus, where it's got to find a home and implant so it can grow for the next 9 months.
You know, this first week is just a complete whirlwind of activity. Day 0 is fertilization. Check. Then, for the next few days, that one cell just divides and divides and divides again, all while it's traveling down the fallopian tube. By day 5 or so, it makes it to the uterus. And around day 6, it has to pull off its first big move, implanting itself into the uterine wall. So that very first cell, the one created right when the DNA from the sperm and egg combine, it actually has a scientific name. It's called a zygote. You can just think of it as the original, one-of-a-kind blueprint for a totally new person. But it doesn't stay a single cell for long. As that zygote keeps dividing, it turns into something way more complex, a little hollow ball of cells called a blastocyst. And this little structure is basically engineered for one specific mission: to find a safe harbor, burrow into the wall of the uterus, and kick off the next 9 months of growth.
Okay, let's hit the fast-forward button. 9 months go by and that tiny blastocyst has become a fully formed baby. Now we're in the final phase of pregnancy, preparing for arrival. And this is where we see all the amazing ways both mother and baby start getting ready for the main event.
In these last few weeks, the signs that things are getting ready are pretty unmistakable. The baby's main job is just to gain weight, building up fat reserves for life on the outside. As the baby gets bigger, the mother's going to feel new kinds of pressure and discomfort. And then a really crucial maneuver happens. Most babies just instinctively know to turn into a head-down position, which is the perfect starting line for delivery, all while the cervix starts to soften up.
But how do you know when it's really time? It's a classic question, right? The body often does these little practice runs, what we call early contractions. They're irregular and they don't really get more intense. True labor, though, that's a different story. It's a clear, escalating pattern. The contractions get longer, way stronger, and closer together. That's the body's signal that it's go time.
And how on earth does the body make all this possible? Well, it has a secret weapon, this amazing hormone called Relaxin. Its one and only job is to soften and loosen the ligaments in the pelvis. It's this incredible hormonal trick that allows the birth canal to get flexible and stretchy enough for the baby to pass through. It's just perfect biological engineering.
All that preparation, all that waiting, it all leads to this moment: labor, the final journey. Now we get to see the powerful, incredible mechanics of the delivery itself. During labor, everything is building toward one magic number: 10 centimeters. This is the goal. This is full cervical dilation. Once the cervix has opened up to this width, it's the green light. The pushing stage can officially begin. And it's usually around this time that the amniotic sac, the water, will break, either all on its own or with a little help from a doctor to speed things up. The delivery itself is like this perfectly choreographed dance. First, the pushing starts, moving the baby down the birth canal. Soon enough, the baby's head emerges. That's called crowning. Then, the baby does this clever little rotation to get under the pubic bone.
After that, the shoulders, which are the widest part, have to rotate and come out one at a time. Once they're clear, the rest of the body just follows right along.
Now you're probably wondering, how does a baby's head fit through there? Well, nature has this brilliant design feature. A baby's skull isn't one solid piece of bone like ours. It's made of these flexible plates that can actually shift and overlap. And this quote says it all. The head temporarily molds into this elongated shape to navigate that narrow path. It's absolutely incredible.
And just like that, the baby has arrived. But believe it or not, the story isn't quite over. In our final section, after the arrival, we're going to look at those first critical moments of life outside the womb and the final steps for the mother too. So the very first thing that happens in the outside world is this simple action. The umbilical cord, which was the baby's lifeline for 9 whole months, is clamped and cut. It's a quick procedure, but it's a huge moment. It officially separates the baby from the placenta and marks the start of their physical independence.
But for the mother, there's one final act. It's called the third stage of labor. Mild contractions keep going for a little while, and their job is to help the placenta detach from the uterine wall. This can take anywhere from a few minutes up to maybe half an hour. Once that placenta is delivered, then and only then is the process of childbirth truly complete.
So what about the baby? In these first few moments, it's all about gentle care. The baby is dried off and wrapped in warm towels to help regulate body temperature. A little massage can help stimulate that all-important first breath. And then, 2 of the most important things are encouraged: immediate skin-to-skin contact with mom for bonding and comfort, and that very first breastfeed to get vital nutrients.
So when you think about the whole thing, from a single cell beating impossible odds, to a body that just instinctively knows how to prepare for this monumental task, to the pure mechanics of birth itself, it's just one of the most profound stories biology has to tell. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What part of this whole intricate and credible process amazes you the most?